Watch our Sergeant at Arms for time there.
Okay, I'll watch the Sergeant at Arms. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. First and foremost, thank you. I know it's early in the morning, and thank you for coming out. I certainly look forward to this. My name is Chris Tibbs, and I'm a candidate for Kitsap County Commissioner. And I am proud to be a lifelong resident of Kitsap County, having been raised in Bainbridge Island and born at Bremerton Naval Hospital. I feel that I'm uniquely qualified to understand, to respect, and to protect the rural character and nature of Kitsap County. I am the only candidate that brings significant for-profit experience from the business community. Currently, I serve as operations manager to a multi-million-dollar enterprise. And our company is doing well and strong in this new and difficult economy. In fact, this year we're going to have record sales of 15 years, record sales of this year. I am proud to be endorsed by former governor and accomplished environmentalist John Spellman, my friend and former North Kitsap County County Commissioner Matt Ryan, Abby Burlingame, and many more. These endorsements represent a strong and unified force for my candidacy and for my endorsement. In 2008, I served on the Kitsap County Citizens Budget Committee. I was appointed by the Board of County Commissioners, and during that time, I saw what I thought were significant opportunities to save money and to really represent the citizens and the taxpayers well in Kitsap County. One of my frustrations was a lack of transparency in our county government and in our county's department elected officials and department heads to really represent the will and benefit the people of Kitsap County. I stand for a zero-based budget policy. And what that is that we cannot continue, as we have in the past, to base our budget based on what worked last year. Right now we have a system in county government where we take last year's budget, adjust it incrementally, and then that's the budget for this year. Instead, we must have a results-driven budget policy and process for Kitsap County. We need to sit down and say what's working and what doesn't. We must identify core priorities for Kitsap County, core services for Kitsap County. The three core services I've identified, and I believe the county must focus on, is law and justice, our road infrastructure, and common sense land use decisions. And I stand for those. My name is Chris Tibbs, and I'm running for Kitsap County Commissioner, and I thank you for your time, and I ask for your vote and your support. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to say greetings actually to everyone who will be watching this morning's forum from the comfort of their computer at home. But more importantly, I'd like to thank you all for winning the battle of the snooze bar on your alarms this morning to make it here on time. Good morning. My name is Robert Gelder, and I have the honor, privilege, and responsibility of serving as your county commissioner since my appointment to the board in March. You know, family and service is the integral foundational component of my life. My parents modeled for not only myself but my siblings what service to the community was all about, such that it really basically shaped how we all chose our respective career paths. My sister chose to actually serve and teach special needs children. My brother followed in my father's footsteps in terms of joining the law enforcement sector. I chose a career of working in the not-for-profit sector, service sector. But I think it was most importantly my father's 21 years in public service that really planted the seed for me to move on and sort of say there's another way yet to serve our community. I have over 20 years of experience in the health and human service industry, with 10 years in senior management executive leadership, most recently as a director of development for Martha and Marion Paulsbo. I graduated salutatorian from my high school graduating class, and I received a bachelor's degree from the University of Rochester. Prior to my appointment, I served a complete term on the Kitsap Citizens Budget Advisory Committee, and also served on the 2011 budget hearings panel last year. I'm an active member of the North Kitsap Paulsbo Rotary Club. I received the 2005 Community Builders Award from the Paulsbo Chamber of Commerce, and I'm one of the first class of the Kitsap County's 40 under 40. I believe in integrity, commitment, and service. As Commissioner, I listen and learn from all citizens of Kitsap County. I believe my priorities include efficient and effective government in this new economy, maintaining the quality of life in Kitsap while promoting and invigorating our local business economy, and advocating for our most vulnerable residents and our veterans and keeping Kitsap safe. You know, the county is, at this point in time, is really at a juncture. With the past couple of years, since 2008 and the economic downturn, we actually have, we're at a precipice, really a time for the needing a paradigm change. And as the future comes out in the next couple of years with annexations, et cetera, we need to change. Thank you so much and ask for your support.
All right, so we're ready to rock and roll. So what I'm going to ask from this point forward is that we hold all of our applause and tightly until the end, and then we unleash it all, okay? So that we can move as quickly as possible through all the questions. So the first question that I need to ask candidates, and so we start with Chris, and this time we'll start with the gentleman to my right. And the question is, can you please describe what is broken in county government?
Well, that's actually a great question, and I think what is broken is really dependent upon what your perspective is. There are a lot of things that we need to address. You know, my opponent used the term common sense, and I think that's an area that what we need to do is always look at how are we approaching all aspects of county government. And probably the biggest piece that we need to look at is have more of a sense of from a perspective of customer service. We as a county are not a bureaucracy, or should not act as a bureaucracy. We are an organization that exists to be in service to our residents of Kitsap County. So for me, what is broken is I think our need to actually shift our paradigm and start focusing on our citizens as customers, and they are who we are here to serve.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. What is broken in county government? I think that it would be a lack of leadership. Our county has no transparency when it comes to land use decisions. We have a county administrative building that's open 4 days a week that we've spent $20 million and bonded for that must be repaid. Open 4 days a week instead of 5. I think what we have is a complete lack of leadership on our Board of County Commissioners. We have commissioners that are not holding the department heads and the elected officials accountable. We have commissioners that must realize that we truly work for the people. I hear this a lot from our Board of Commissioners, that they run a $305 million business enterprise as a board of directors. I will tell you right now, if you ran the county, like if you ran a business the way our county commissioners run the government, it would be bankrupt. We need to change our county government, and we need strong leadership to do that. Thank you.
Okay, and so what we'll do is, next question. Actually, usually I start off with some softballs, but y'all didn't give me a whole lot to work with. So we're just going to go right in there and jump right in. So hopefully these guys are right on their toes right out of the start. So staying with Chris. Chris, the question is, what do you see as the county's top 2 challenges, and how do you propose to solve them?
What do I see as the county's top 2 challenges, and what do I propose to solve them? How do I propose to do them? Well, I'll tell you, right now the top challenge for Kitsap County is the budget. Without a doubt, we are at a top-heavy budget. And we must really identify our budget spending priorities. You know, I said in my introduction, I said we must identify core responsibilities of county government, and I believe that. We must have strong law and justice. We must have a strong road network and infrastructure. And we must have land use decisions that are common sense and that really benefit the will of Kitsap County. So number 1 is the budget. And I think the way you do that is we have to think outside the box. We have to sit down and look at the different various department heads and find a better structure for the appointed department heads in Kitsap County. I think by having a stronger leadership role with the county commissioners, that's going to do that. You know, we have a county administrator position that I think is unnecessary. And so, I see my time's flying. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can you repeat the question, please?
The question is, what do you see as the county's top 2 challenges, and how do you propose solving them?
The county's, as I see it, the top two challenges, I would agree, the number one challenge, which carries through everything, is our county budget. It's finding, and what we need to do about that is, again, to look at a reset and actually identify what the level of services that the county can provide into the future on a sustainable level. When it comes to transparency within the county, I think there are a lot of things that the county does that are very transparent. We actually put a lot of time and energy into actually having citizen involvement. So I think in many ways that's a challenge, but we actually take that head on. In terms of leadership, the Board of County Commissioners has stepped up to lead. In the absence of a county administrator, we actually have much more direct interaction with our county departments at this point in time than we have in the past decade. And that's working fairly well. So thank you very much.
Great, thank you. So I actually found the softball here. Good one. Easy. So with that, back to you, Rob. The question is, tell us about your educational background.
As I mentioned earlier, I graduated as a salutatorian from my high school in New York and received a bachelor's degree in political science from the University of Rochester. I also had the opportunity to study abroad for a while and study Norwegian language at the University of Oslo. Not one of those tremendously, let's say, marketable skill sets, but one of heritage and personal interest, and so that is something that I pursued as well. Since that time, I have taken various professional related courses throughout the years, whether it's conferences, trainings, etc., that have helped to further my career in the not-for-profit sector.
Thank you.
My educational background, I regained most of my educational background through common sense and through hard work, I'll tell you. I've learned it through trial and error. I wish I had had the opportunity to attend college, and I wish that opportunity had been afforded to me. But as a child of a single mother, struggling to make ends meet, that wasn't an opportunity. And now I find myself in the unique position that if I stop and choose to go back to school, I will make less money than if I continue doing what I do right now. So we have a very successful business. I learned all of my lifelong experience, I guess, from that experience. And I think it should be noted that when Josh Brown chose to appoint me to the Budget Committee, he knew about my educational background, and he supported that endorsement and that appointment.
Thank you. Okay, so actually we got dueling by these questions, which simply is, starting with you, Chris, which is, what is the largest organization you ever managed? We have two people on the same.
What is the largest organization I've managed? I had a private business that I owned outright myself in 2003 through 2005, and we had about 30 employees at that time. At this point, the business we have has 7 employees and has annual sales in excess of $10 million. So as far as organizational, I can tell you the largest would be about 30. But I can also tell you that working in this economy and keeping in mind that this is the best sales we've ever had in our company's history, which is impressive. This year in January, we closed a 34-location restaurant chain as a new customer. So identifying those cost savings and working with our customers, we've been able to have exceptional sales. So coming from a business background where I've been forced to create sales and create revenue, I think that I'm well experienced to manage the county's affairs.
Well, most recently, the largest organization that I have managed, the largest business actually, is the county, with about 1,200 employees and an $80 million general fund budget. Prior to that, I have been involved in managing, most recently, Martha and Mary, which is part of the senior management team. That is an organization with over 500 employees and a $20 million budget at that point in time. Prior to that, I've also spent several years in leadership. I actually was the executive director for a small human service agency where the dollars weren't a lot, but you were concerned day in and day out with how are you going to meet payroll and making sure that you could serve your community and the citizens that you're responsible to at the same time as making that payroll and making some of the really difficult budget decisions that need to be made.
Thank you. Okay, so this is a global question and quite large. and we want to see if you can bring it home to Kitsap County. And it says here, 3 of the most important issues facing our nation are jobs, the economy, and the vanishing sense of unity and civil discourse. How do you start to fix any of these problems at this level? That would be in your opinion.
I believe I go first on that one.
Yes, you do.
Yes. That is a fantastic question, and thank you to whomever asked that. I think, there's different, even though we work and live locally, we do not do so in a vacuum. That is something that there are always that trickle-down effects from the national government, and whether it's jobs, the economy, and unity in terms of discourse. I think there's lots of opportunities that we have locally to develop some of our job sectors, whether it's in tourism, whether it's identifying other economic clusters that can be supported, whether it's aerospace, et cetera. There are ways that we as Kitsap County can help create an environment that is supportive of those and therefore helping out our local economy. But when it comes to unity of civil discourse, I think the one thing that we have for us in this community is that we can let go of some of those national issues and say that we want to have a local dialogue and make it important, because it's not about the party, it's about the people.
Thank you. Do you need for me to re-ask the question?
Would you restate the question?
I'd be happy to.
Thank
As a
you.
matter of fact, as we go along, anytime you need to have that happen, please ask. I'm happy to do so. And the question is, 3 of the most important issues facing our nation, again, this is in the person's opinion, the participant's opinion, are jobs, the economy, and the vanishing sense of unity and civil discourse. How do you start to fix any of these problems at this level?
Well, I think jobs and economy really go hand in hand together. So I think those 2 issues really should come together. And I think to do that on a county level we can, but we have to show good faith with private business. We had an opportunity a few years back to have a racetrack here in Kitsap County. There was a great opportunity to spur economic growth, and our Board of Commissioners pulled the rug out from the proponents and supporters of that organization at the last possible moment. So I think we need to be open and honest in how we deal if we're going to respond to this economy and have a strong economy. If Boeing wants to come to Kitsap County, we need to show them that we are in good faith, we're going to help them, and we're going to not walk away from them at the last possible moment. The second part of that is civil discourse. I think you do that by being a man of integrity, an individual of integrity and character, and you talk to people the way you would like to be talked to. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so now we're going to have to get into some, just tip of the iceberg has to do with the local economy and that. So as a commissioner, the question goes, what are you able to do in order to create an environment for job growth? That goes with you, Chris, please.
Well, that's a great question. It follows up to the last one. What you can do is do what you say you're going to do. Unfortunately, our county commissioners have a history not only with NASCAR, but with the Legacy Project in Paulsbo of asking private enterprise to invest time, money, and really good faith, and then walking away from the last possible moment. We have to stop that. If we continue down that path, we're going to devastate the fiscal future of Kitsap County. We need to act within good faith. And so to do that, I think what we do is have policies that are fair and favorable to everyone, not specific groups. We have an open discussion on how we can grow the economy. We need a functioning DCD. Unfortunately, the Department of Community Development has been understaffed for such a long time and poorly staffed that we have a real difficulty using that as an opportunity to really develop economic development. So I believe we have to have a functioning DCD, and our commissioners must act with good faith with private investors. Thank you.
As commissioner, I think to effectively help create jobs in the local community is to create an environment that is supportive of those businesses, large and small. And that could be as simple as what's the underlying zoning of certain areas? How do you make it such that it is conducive for organizations to start something here? When it comes to what often is a hurdle for a lot of individuals starting businesses, can be taxes, et cetera, and the county actually does not have a B&O tax. A lot of the issues that sort of sometimes hinder business growth in our community is what is happening on the state level. So it's actually it's beholden upon the county commissioners to actually have a strong working relationship with our representatives on the state level to make sure that we can help advocate for and put into place some legislation that will actually help support local businesses on all levels.